Let's go ahead and move down the list from quarterback. We all know everybody loves that one, unless you're a running back like myself. And this is a place that I always love to take a look at, Alex. I know kind of like you do with the O-line. And this is one that's kind of been devalued over the last couple of years. I mean, we go back to 2 years ago when ETN and Najee Harris got picked up like 17th, 18th later in the draft. And then since then, it really has been kind of scarce earlier in the first round. But this year was different. Then started with Atlanta. Bijan Robinson going to Atlanta, and then you guys getting Gibbs. Like, what in the world, man? I mean, what a pickup. Go to the Bijan before, because we did talk about Gibbs a little bit. Bijan to Atlanta. Did you see that? Because I didn't see that.
It was, if you looked at the betting odds, it was the favorite going into Thursday there. So
really,
yeah. To me, I didn't like the fit. I mean, I liked the fit, but I didn't like it at 8.
Yeah.
I just thought they had bigger needs. But man, when you look at the pieces around, for now, Desmond Ridder, I don't think it's Ridder past this year, but you got Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Cordero Patterson.
Yeah.
You got difference makers.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
if Ridder doesn't work out and you either draft a quarterback next year or take one of these top guys that could be in free agency next year, Atlanta's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, in a division that doesn't look to be immediately getting better. I mean, I know the Saints got Derek Carr, and they hope for the best. But nothing that really scares you in Tampa Bay. There's nothing that, I mean, Bryce Young, Carolina, but they're still kind of in rebuild mode. Although they got Jonathan Mingo, who will, or not John, Jonathan Mingo, who we'll discuss a little bit later. It's theirs. It's theirs for the taking, and Atlanta with that running game, which was one of the top rushing teams of the year a year ago, that would be huge for them. Absolutely huge. And they got the secret weapon. They got Mr. Heineke, who will be coming in this year to show up and show out. Let's go.
He'll get a couple games this year for sure.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, it's still crazy to look at. But now let me ask you this, because like we mentioned earlier, Gibbs, you guys picked him up at 12. And I do want to ask you if, in hindsight, you think that was the right move. But before this, because I didn't even see you guys anywhere near picking up Gibbs at 12.
No, me neither.
Well, but if Bijan wasn't there, now that we know this, do you think they would have thought to pick up Bijan if they had an opportunity at 12? No.
Gibbs was the top guy on their board.
Yeah.
Brad Holmes has said that. So they thought about taking Gibbs at 6 before Arizona called for the trade at 12. So Gibbs was absolutely in play at 6. And then you look at it at 12. A lot of people were saying if you picked him at 12, why not just pick him at 18? From what I've heard pretty much since that pick came in, oddly enough, it was the Jets that wanted to take him at 15.
Really?
Which, you got Breece Hall, so that's a little confusing.
Right?
But yeah, sounds like Rodgers wanted another difference maker in the backfield there. And then there was also talk of New England valuing those two running backs and be willing to take them at 14. And then right as Detroit takes Gibbs, then you see New England trade out. I think it's the same thing where Seattle took Witherspoon at 5, and then we were like, oh, crap, what do we do? I think Gibbs and Robinson might have been the guys for New England at 14.
It makes sense.
And then that trade happened. I was shocked about Gibbs, and then I was ecstatic about Gibbs.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we talked about how he is. We talked about, great vision, great, ability to cut, but, also his great hands out of the backfield. The guy can play. And to be honest, in what was perceived as a down year for Alabama, he was one of the bright spots, one of the few bright spots offensively, with their lack of wide receivers. So Hey, more power to you guys. And now definitely with Swift out, you got a younger, healthier back coming in here to pair with David Montgomery, who, like you said, was even without a line last year was pretty solid. So that's a definitely a nice pickup. I wish we could have got him.
Well, and the interesting thing I took from Brad Holmes talking about Gibbs is he said that David Montgomery is our running back. Jahmyr Gibbs is our weapon.
Yeah.
So look for Gibbs to be used all over the place, thrown out as a wide receiver from time to time. Probably two back sets with Gibbs going out in routes and look for Gibbs to be a chess piece for Ben Johnson. I cannot wait.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and especially to see what they were able to do with Jamal Williams last year and Swift when Swift was healthy. Wow, watch out for sure. For sure, yo. So let's go down the list. Charbonnet out of UCLA and actually formerly from Michigan. He goes to Seattle. Kendre Miller.
I didn't like that pick.
Just the Seattle one?
Yeah.
Because they have Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Like, why? It doesn't make much sense right there.
I mean, Seattle's always loaded up on running back, so I kind of understood that. But it's a position I would have filled later, that backup running back, personally. And me as like a fantasy footballer, like dynasty guy, you just killed all hope for Charbonnet. Because Charbonnet was one of those guys where if he went to the right team in the draft, if you're doing a dynasty rookie draft, he might be a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Now, for a lot of people, he probably wasn't even on the board in like a 3 or 4 round rookie draft. So, I was bummed by that one for sure.
Yeah, and he definitely got picked around the time or a little earlier than I might have expected. Kendre Miller goes to the Saints. Tajay Spears goes to Tennessee. A-Chain going to the Dolphins. Bigsby going to Jacksonville. Rashawn Johnson going to the Bears. I like this pick. I do.
Too.
You lost Montgomery. You know, you're trying to work with Khalil Herbert, who is solid, but with that line that they had a year ago, you still left some things to be desired. You bring in somebody like a Rashawn Johnson, who a lot of people don't know him as much, and rightfully so. He was the backup to, Bijan Robinson. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you have a stud in front of you. They're not going to pick up on this guy, but this guy's a solid back, tough guy to bring down, hard-nosed runner. I love them getting this pick, and I see he can contribute this year, man. I'm looking forward to him.
Oh yeah, he's the day one starter as the power back for Chicago. I absolutely love this pick. Like you said, Khalil Herbert's kind of your overall running back one, but here's your thumper. Here's your guy where if you need 2 yards and you're going right up the middle, you give it to Rashawn Johnson. He's gonna get it for you. I absolutely love that pick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. So is there anybody else more down the line that maybe you like? I said Rodriguez went to us. I will say this. Deuce Vaughn was picked up by my arch rival, the Cowboys. And I would have been upset. I would have been angered, but I gotta be honest, man. What Jerry Jones and the Cowboys did was amazing, and how they were able to draft him. For those of you who don't know, Deuce Vaughn's father is actually a scout for the Cowboys. So Jerry Jones allowed the father to call from the Cowboys organization and call his son and say, hey, you want to come to work with me on Monday? And he said, yeah. I would love that. And that was beautiful. And seeing the emotions, it almost makes me believe that Cowboys are kind of real and, they're human. But, then I hear like Janae start talking crap. I'm like, nope, no, they're not. No, they're not.
No, I'll say that was the best moment of the draft.
Yeah,
bar none. That was so cool to see. I love that pick for them.
Yeah.
My best fit for a running back was Devon A-Chain to Miami. That's probably the best overall fit in the draft. Player to scheme, A-Chain to Miami. You get the fastest running back in the draft, and you pair him with arguably the 2 fastest receivers in the NFL. Oh man, that's a lot of speed.
Oh, absolutely. And we've seen what Devin A. Chain can do. This guy is electric. Not only can you put him at running back, but he's proven deadly at return as well, kick return and punt return. So yeah, definitely get him out there. I love to see what he's going to bring to keep up Seattle. Not only did they get Charbonnet early, they got Kenny McIntosh from Georgia a little bit later, who I thought was going to go a lot higher. I mean, that's a crowded running back room now in Seattle. I mean, depending on how highly they value Kenneth Walker. I mean, do Charbonnet and McIntosh? I mean, you said, Charbonnet might not get as much attention. Does McIntosh get any attention?
I think what you're going to see is Walker with his speed and running ability. He'll kind of be your outside the tackles guy. Charbonnet and McIntosh are going to fight for those in between the tackle carries. That's going to be who's going to be your short yardage back, who's going to be your power back. Both of them have the ability to do it, and both in different styles. Charbonnet is thick. He's hard to bring down, but he's more of that one-cut guy. McIntosh is a lot of he plays that like almost Earl Campbell style football where you hand him the ball, he's going to drop his shoulder and just get through. And absolutely. I love what both of them bring to the table, and I wouldn't be shocked if you see all three kind of share the load, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I can't wait to see how that Seattle backfield is and how they can help Geno Smith in the coming year. And real quick, we had mentioned the Jets. Israel Abinaconda out of Pittsburgh came and was drafted by the Jets in the 5th round. I love this because now we know about the speed. We know about the athleticism that's already in that backfield. Now you get a bruiser. You get a guy that can carry the rock, 15, 20 times a game. This dude has had games where Pittsburgh leaned on him. We know their offense and that running style. He had over 300-yard game this past year. So, hey, this is a good move for them because it's like a lightning and thunder. You know what I mean? You got Carter, you got Breece Hall that are dynamic as a backfield, can do something. Now you go in 3rd and 1 or 3rd and short or goal line, and you bring a Abinaconda in there to rumble over those guys. So I really like this move for the Jets.
Yeah, me too. And one kind of undrafted guy, and I know he's another Lion, but for us to get Mohamed Ibrahim undrafted, that was one where I saw and I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, he was still there.
Right.
He was one where he actually had me worried every time we played Minnesota because of him and him alone. Like, it was just like, this guy's a problem to bring down, and you kind of get him for a chance to be that 3rd or 4th running back. I'm excited about that too. I love that.
Yeah. I was surprised that he didn't get drafted. And then when I saw you guys picked him up after, I was like, God, Lee, come on, man. Y'all just getting everybody, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted him.